Well, hello there, chums. It's I, Captain Stephen Exo, and we have a little bit of speculation type news, the sort of thing that we would like to see in the next update. You know, the one that Hello Games have been hinting at is coming in the very near future. So, yeah, Exo, if you wouldn't mind just spinning up what we put together the other day, thanking you, Executamundo. So yes, we've been contacted by a source that states that they've got sources, a source with source, about the new update, and that it might be called Generations. And there's the 5 things that it may include, or is rumoured to include. So yeah, super biomes isn't something new. I mean, this has been bandied about from some time. If you watch the GDC video that's there, I mean, I will have segments coming up in a bit that I'm going to play to you. But here you go. Here's some images of those super biomes in their early infancy. I mean, they look fantastic. They look really, really cool. In some regards, they look better than what we have now when it comes to biome. And also prop gen, so how things are placed by noise, be that building assets or fauna or flora. However, prop generation, I'm hoping we see better prop gen. Okay, so all this prop gen and noise generation was based on the planet's location in the solar system and its relationship to the sun, which was both heavily suggested to be a thing and in-game back in the GDC videos. And here are some upcoming snippets.
It can't know anything about any of the other voxels round about it. It's stateless, so it can't know whether it's halfway up a mountain or at the top of a mountain, aside from that it is a mountain. It has, maybe 50% of a mountain. And that becomes a real problem when you want to map out like water flowing and things like that. So that means we have to look at generation techniques that look as though they've evolved over time, that look as though they know information about what's next to them. We have to model erosion, but you don't model erosion as the process of eroding. You model it as the end state of all those things. You model something that looks like it has eroded over time. So to break...
This is a piece of key art we created quite early on. Hopefully you can see a lot of the influences of what I just talked about, like Ralph McQuarrie, Chris Foss, and all the Lost World and the Journey to the Centre of the Earth, mysterious floating islands, the crescent planet on the horizon. And we create this kind of artwork almost as something we could, as artists, we can all look at and agree that this is the vibe we're going for. So we wanted that feeling of a world you want to explore, a world that you don't know about, and a world that has history. It's very easy to kind of forget about history on a planet that is a jungle, but it's actually really important. It was like when we first started creating environments, you just add trees, rocks, bushes and things, but unless you can see where they came from, your brain kind of rejects it. So you have to have little hints that, younger trees, signs that like ivy and hanging branches, just all these little hints that it hasn't just popped up. Erosion has been involved.
Okay, so that was them talking about prop gen and erosion and how assets should be manipulated, and here it is about sun relationship and its placement in the solar system and how that seeds things.
So it helps here, when we're going to talk about generation, to have a bit of an understanding of how we look at generation in No Man's Sky in general. So we see generation as this top-down approach always. You're always feeding data through one generator, coming out with some more data, feeding that into the next generator, and just doing that continuously until you end up with what you want. So in the case of terrain, we're starting by knowing which solar system we're in, and we know that by a positional seed. We feed that through and generate some info about the solar system, how close the planets are to the sun, what kind of sky it has, what the atmosphere is like. And then we can feed that data through to each planet along with the planet's position-based seed, generate some information about whether it should be rocky or cliffy I don't think is a word, but it has cliffs,
But what we found by creating those sort of biomes, those separate biomes, that human beings are really, really good at spotting patterns. So you'd fly down to a planet and it would be a swamp planet, and you'd go, oh, it's a swamp planet. And instantly that breaks this illusion, and you just realize what's going on behind the scenes. And the thing with video game artwork is so much of what we do is an illusion, like, especially linear games where you can look out a window and you can see a mountain in the distance, but we all know that, you can't get to that mountain. And as artists work in the industry, everything we do is, where it's all pretend and we don't want anybody to see behind the scenes. And having those separate biomes, it absolutely revealed that. And our game is it's incredibly important that you don't get that sense of illusion. So what we ended up doing was creating what I call a super biome, which is a biome which covers all those biomes in one fell swoop. And it's, what's a good way of explaining it? If you imagine if you've ever used like a terrain generation tool where you'll have lots of different sliders that control different things like spikiness of mountains, trees, and we have that, but we have hundreds of different sliders, and we have min and max values for all those different sliders, but I don't have to go into every planet and manually move those sliders. What happens is when a planet is terraformed, those sliders are moved to different positions. Now, originally those positions were random, but what we found really interesting is if you start to link those sliders to things within the universe, like distance from a sun, whether the planet has a moon or not, then the results start to become believable, and you start to spot patterns, but it's patterns that you accept because you start to realize that, oh, this planet's really close to the sun, so the foliage is either going to be non-existent or it's just not going to be very green.
Okay, yeah, and structures. There's quite a lot of artwork of different structures that could appear on planet surfaces, but I'm hoping we get more sort of biome-related structures in a roundabout way. So maybe on desert planets there's junker yards where you can pick up new modules for your ships and things, and asteroids, mining vessels, and mission agents in sort of like container bars, or even pirate bases. Oh, and just a reminder, people, I am making a card game, and I am putting up videos almost daily on new ships I find for that card deck. Okay, chums, so that's the video footage and also my slides that I've put together. Now, not all of that I think is coming in the upcoming update that's supposed to be coming on the horizon or in the not so distant future. So the proc gen stuff, that's the stuff that I think we're going to be getting. So yeah, you know, the distance from the sun to the planet and how it might affect the flora and the fauna on the planets. I think we're going to be getting that sort of stuff. That's what I would suggest anyway, the proc gen stuff. But the super biomes, no. I don't think we're going to get the super biomes, and I think we won't get to see those until they actually think about doing a galactic reset. Maybe if they found a way to bring us crossplay, then yeah, maybe we might get the super biomes and a lot more variety. But yeah, it's just interesting that they were saying about the art style and the vibe that they were going for. And when you look at all those different screenshots and the video footage and the things that they're alluding to, it's very different to what we've got now. So I'm wondering whether some of that might come back, whether we might get some graphical slider options from inside of the actual game's menus to maybe tweak it to make it more Chris Foss-like or back to the normal style, or even change the skies or things like that. I mean, one of the guys even said there, the programmer, he said there that the distance from the sun would alter the colour of the sky and the actual makeup and so forth and so on. But yet we're not really getting that level anymore. So I'm hoping we get some of that back. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. So yeah, I am really, really stoked for this upcoming update. I can't wait for it. I really can't. Yeah, it's going to be mind-blowing. I hope it's going to be mind-blowing, this new update that we get. So yeah, so we've got one coming in the not-so-distant future, and then Sean Murray has also teased that in the back of 2020 or somewhere in 2020 we might get to see something else, something larger. I don't know, but yeah, he's hinted that there's more to come. It's going to be an exciting year, and they are working on stuff, a lot of stuff. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they bring to you guys and to myself and to this iteration in the not so distant future and beyond. Yeah, there's no other word I can use really, is there? Beyond. Yeah, so that's everything for you, chums, and I hope that you enjoyed that, and I think I'm on to something. I'd like to hope I'm on to something when it comes to generations. I mean, I'm only using the word generations because we were approached by somebody that suggests that they know people that work at Hello Games, or people that know the people that work at Hello Games, that have suggested that the update they're working on is generations and includes things like rivers, new structures on planets that are biome related, and a few other things to do with proc gen and generation as a whole. So I'm kind of going by that. I'm going by a little bit of a tidbit. So it's not all 100% my stuff. No, this is stuff that is suggested to have been leaked. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure if it's all kosher. I mean, yeah, this is the first time this person's contacted me. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if this bears any fruit. And if it does, then yeah, I will be taking this person a heck of a lot more seriously. And I'll be letting you guys know if it's all good. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys soon. Well, thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon. Take care. Goodbye. Patreon, if you wish to support my channel in that way, there is a tier there for pretty much everyone, including ship models, and here are the Patreons that are supporting me in that way. Thanking you, and here are my other supporters, and again, thanking you, Patreons. I also have merch. You can grab yourself a mug, a t-shirt, some fancy socks, or a lovely hoodie, heading over to Teespring. Or yeah, you can hit like, subscribe, or just don't skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Thank you very much for watching, and please consider clicking one of these links.